Hey, 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 welcome to our live stream. I have just got back from a very, very chilly cruise. I was cruising in Norway on board Havila. Very, very interesting. We're just going to do a cruise Q&A today, so if you have any questions about cruises, Hudson is here. He can't answer them because he's my cat, but he would like to join us for the live stream. If you can put your question with question, it just helps me to pick out what is a question, and I will do my best to answer as many as I can. Good question. How do we know that was really you in the massive coat and hat? You're just going to have to take my word for it. Most of the time on this cruise, it was around minus 12, minus 15 Celsius, which I think is about 5 Fahrenheit or something like that. So only my eyes are really sticking out in the video, but it's going to be very, very cool. There you go. You've had your Hudson. That's pretty much it, probably. Frank says, I love how thrifty you are. What was the most unreasonable and expensive thing you've ever treated yourself to on a cruise? Was it worth the expense? I've treated myself to plenty of things with other people's money. So if I'm, for example, doing a new ship launch, I have done some of those in the past, and the cruise line will treat me to things like specialty restaurants. I'll do them. Not something I normally pay for, but I have done quite a few. What else have I done? I think I've done most things. I've done excursions. I think it makes more sense if I do things and then I say it's not really worth it rather than just I've never done it. So I do, if I do get the chance, I do take it. Of course I do. I did do on Princess. The first one that comes to mind as being very extravagant was on Princess. They have a special table in the main dining room where you eat, I think, with the captain, and there's this big curtain around it, and it's so funny to be in there because you're just in this big curtain in the middle of the main dining room eating your dinner, and then you go out and go to the toilet or whatever, and everyone looks at you like, who's that curtain person? That was cool. What ship has the best desserts beside cookies? It depends what you want by desserts, of course. For me, my ideal dessert is like an iced bun, a donut, something like that. I'm not really a fan of the foamy kind of creamy desserts. I don't like that. Some cruise lines, I say, have foamy desserts like MSC. They're very foamy. And other ones like Cunard, I would say, were the best desserts. They weren't for dessert, though. They were just during the day. But they had the most amazing donuts, like filled donuts. And we were on board for Valentine's Day. So like Valentine's donuts. Oh, yeah, really good. That'd be my top pick. If I had to pick one for dessert, it would be a Cunard donut. Obviously a cookie as well. So many of you already in here. Thank you so much for your questions. If you can start it with question, then I will be able to see it. A curtain. Yes, a curtain. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm sure that's not what they say on the website, but it is a curtain. It is a curtain. On disembarkation day, can you stay on the ship if you have a late flight? It depends on the cruise line. Normally, no. Sometimes you can pay to stay on later. And if you're on a cruise line like Costa, when I was on my Costa cruise, we were able to stay on until I think 3 in the afternoon, which is very rare. But the reason we could do that was because on Costa, people were getting on in different ports. It wasn't one beginning and one end. Normally, they need to have everyone off the ship by sort of 10 in the morning because they have other people coming on at 12. They have a really, really short turnaround. So if the cruise line you're going with will let you pay them to stay on, sometimes they do, then that's okay. But if not, generally speaking, no. If you have a late flight, I'm quite a fan of a day use hotel room. They can be quite good. So check out those. There's a few companies that do those. Hello to the cruise boys who are in here. It is very, very nice to see you. Hello, Sean. Nice to see you too. Not a question. This is my first ever live. Had to set my alarm. Amazing. A new 11-month-old kitty. So cute. Named her Emma. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Thank you very much. That's so cute. Do you have any pet care tips when you're cruising? I think it depends on your cat and if your cat cares, because my cat could not care less. Doesn't even, when I come back, doesn't even look at me. Doesn't care. As long as there are humans in the house, he doesn't care who they are. So yeah, some cats obviously care more than others. I have in the past bought those plug-in things that are supposed to calm down cats, buy them new treats, buy them sweets and stuff. Of course, but it depends on you, really. Thank you, Kevin, for sharing the link to my shop. Great merch. Thank you very much. So I do a discount every single live stream, and this discount is on this one. This is the If Found Return to the Nearest Cruise Ship t-shirt. This is just what I chose to wear. I think I don't know if we've had a discount on this one before, but this is what I wanted to wear. And yeah, I get emails asking for a discount on this. So this is the one. It's 24 hours only if you want to check it out there. Some weird people in the questions today that I'm just going to get rid of. Thank you so much to the moderators, by the way, who look after these chats. I appreciate it. What is your view of the way Princess handled the cancellation of Sun Princess? So this was interesting. Last week I did a live stream with my friends, the Cruise Monkeys, and they were going on Sun. They were supposed to be on the second sailing, and it was cancelled 5 days before, which is very, very annoying. But what they managed to do was to pick up a P&O cruise in the Canary Islands, I think, for the same dates. Okay. Obviously, very frustrating. I think when Princess cancelled the first one, everyone who was on the second one sort of thought, maybe it'll be cancelled. So yeah, fingers crossed that now the third one is supposed to be the right one. Hopefully it is. Hopefully it is. It's obviously much better to finish the ship rather than just have it not finished. Beth says, hi, Emma. I was rewatching Paul and Carol's 90s Morella cruise last night. You were so fun. Thank you very much. That was a really fun cruise. I really liked the, we would say fancy dress in the UK, meaning like costume dress, the fancy dress themes every day. Took me ages to put together those costumes, but it was good fun. Interesting questions. Thanks so much. If you can keep the questions shorter, it just increases the chance of me being able to pick them out because I don't want to pause and read. Just like this one that says, would you ever want to take a cruise in or to Australia? Yes, absolutely I would. Bucket list for me is Australia. I would go at any time. Absolutely. Fabulous. Got my Mia Tui travel bag set last week. Amazing unusual discount. Thank you very much. So I have a discount called Emma Cruises for all of the Mia Tui stuff. I have an incredible collection that I've got over the last 6 years, and you'll see them in all my videos. But yeah, the discounts, Emma Cruises. Your T-shirt could end up with you in the wrong ship. Can you imagine that? If you were in a port just wandering free, if you're like me and you see a cruise ship, then you're going to go and have a look at it. Quite often I've been on cruises where I've been on an MSC cruise, for example, and then there's a Viking ship. Obviously, I'm going to go and stare at it, right? Obviously, in that situation, that might be good if they let me on the Viking ship. But yes, you can always return me to the nearest cruise ship. I don't necessarily have to go on it. Jamie says, has your Norway trip changed your opinion on ferries? So the cruise that I just got off was technically a ferry, but every bit as nice as a cruise ship. The ship I was on was only 6 months old. She's the Havila Polaris, and you're supposed to say Polaris, apparently. And I have a few pictures that I will share with you here if that is of interest. Oh, I only have some random pictures of food. Anyone want to see that? Okay. So here's some random food. Here is me. That's it, me in the observation lounge. At the bottom, that is the ship that we're on. So, you know, good looking ship. There's my breakfast, there's my dinner, and there's a picture of me and Jono in the snow. So, yes, it was a very, very lovely ship. It is a ferry, though. You know, people get on for an hour, for 2 hours to go from one place to the other. We had 21 ports, I think, in the 4 days that I was on board. And some people are on board for 12 days. So really, really interesting. I think there's no way you're going to see Norway better because you see so many different places, big places, tiny, tiny places, but very different from a cruise. Yeah, you're not going to find a theatre. They do have a gym. They have a lounge. They have like little hot tubs and stuff, but it's not. You're never going to find like an aqua theatre or anything on a ferry because it is a ferry. But there are Americans on there, people from New Zealand, UK, all over. Love the random photos of food. I did mean to upload a photo of something else, but that's the only one that successfully got stuck in here. So that's okay. Bear with me a second. I'm going to press the upload button, see if I can upload anything else. Here it is. Good. That actually worked. It's dangerous just to upload a picture to a live stream. But here we are. I think it's loading. Okay, here we go. So this is the me. That is me in front of the ship, if you can see me there, the snow. And that's Hudson clearing the decks. If you can see, that's the snow on the deck of the cruise ship because it snows a lot and it goes on the cruise ship, which is really, really different. Is seasickness a problem when tendering? Can it be prevented? So, a tender on a cruise is when your ship is too big to dock, or there's already another ship that's docked there, and you basically stop and then get on the little lifeboats normally, or local boats, and you go to the place. That's basically what it is. I'm someone who gets seasick if we hit a storm on a cruise ship, if I took seasickness medicine on the ferry because ferries can rock, but I've never really felt seasick on a tender because I don't think it's long enough. And also, it's so dramatic in the movement that I don't think you feel sick. So, some people will, I'm sure. But for me, I feel seasick when I'm moving, but you're looking around and it's not moving and your brain gets confused. I think really that's what seasickness is. But if I'm on a tender, I've been on some where it's like, doof, doof, and you're getting wet. That doesn't make me feel seasick. It's just too dramatic. Katie says, first cruise for a family, what line would you take? There's 1,000 answers to this, but I'm going to direct you to emmacruises.com. Put in your email address. It'll give you a free guide that compares all the mainstream cruise lines, the American ones, the British ones, the Italian ones. It'll say how expensive they are, how busy they are, and that is the best place to start, I think. And then you'll get all of my emails that I send out with all of the stuff I know. All the stuff I know. Did you see the Northern Lights? I didn't on this cruise. My friend David was on board on the way up and the way back down. He did, but also they had some terrible weather. So I would prefer to pick the bit that was coming down that was smoother, and we didn't see the Northern Lights. I did see the Northern Lights last year, which was amazing. We did a Fred Olsen cruise up into the Arctic Circle. But it's very, very different. It's quite nice for me to be able to compare a more traditional cruise in the Arctic Circle with a ferry in the Arctic Circle. Was the fare for the ferry comparable to a cruise? Yeah, it's worth remembering Norway is an expensive place. I bought a pint of cider for £12 in Norway. It's an expensive place, but it was under £200 a night for the sea view cabin and for the food. So yeah, pretty comparable to a cruise. Thanks, Kevin, for sharing my link to booking a cruise. Yeah, if you want to book a cruise, I have recommended agents who are in this link and also in this chat. So yes. Ian says, any comments on Norway considering banning cruise ships in 2025? So Norway looking at environmental regulations, but the Havila Polaris that I was on, Polaris, that's how you're supposed to say it, is battery powered. So they are at the front. They can sail for 4 hours completely on battery, which is incredible. Normally, they don't do that. Normally, they don't just go on battery because it makes more sense to use a little bit of LNG and a little bit of battery rather than charging it and then using it. But still, very, very clever. Very cool. So they will be absolutely fine. And I just hope that the other cruise lines will learn and copy them. We'll see what happens. What happens with your luggage on a late flight? You sit on it all day, depending on where you are. I've sat on my suitcase for many, many hours. But it depends, there's companies where you can leave your luggage. There's places where they'll take your luggage home for you. There's all kinds of things, but it's your responsibility. Once you get off the cruise, if your flight's at 8 p.m., then you probably won't be able to drop your bag until, 3 hours before. So just become your friend. Dan's in here. He says, that's me. Yep, Dan is my US agent. He's absolutely fantastic. I've learned so much from Dan. Thank you, Jonathan, who gifted a Emma Cruises membership. So I have memberships on my channel and I do a podcast every single week. So if you do have a question and you don't have time, I don't have time to answer it in the chat and you want a guaranteed answer, then I answer them all in the podcast every week. We also do outtakes, and some of the comments on the outtakes are like, it's worth it for the outtakes because, I don't know, people think I do these in one take, and I absolutely do not. What else do we do? We have a Discord chat, all kinds of things, and that is with the join button down there, I think, on the YouTube. Oh, good question. From Nancy. On Celebrity, would you choose a porthole veranda versus the infinite balcony? So I had the infinite balcony on Celebrity Edge, and it was fine, but it is a glorified window rather than an infinite balcony. That's what I would say. It is a very nice window. It's fantastic, but it is a window, and I didn't like that the captain or whoever's on the bridge could lock it. Sometimes you want to get some fresh air, particularly if you're someone who does feel seasick. One of the nice things about balconies is you can get fresh air, but if the weather is rocky, then they're going to lock your window. So it's not for me. I prefer a regular one. A porthole veranda. I don't know what that is on Celebrity, so let me know. porthole veranda. To me, a porthole cabin is something different from a veranda cabin, so I'm not entirely sure. Yeah. Max says, might sound entirely stupid, but what is a Discord chat? That is not a stupid question at all. I had no idea what Discord was. It's just like old-fashioned chat rooms in an app, pretty much. And we have an Emma Cruises one for the members and for my Patreons, and people share, you know, where they're going, ask questions and things, and I'm in there all the time, and it's quite nice because if you haven't seen, there's quite a lot of comments out here, so it's nice to have like a little bit in there. Have I missed the V4 Hudson order yet? You have not. I haven't got my sample yet. I'm waiting on some amendments. They sent me the first sample. Well, they showed me pictures of it, and I said, can we tweak that? So I'm waiting on the new one, and then when that's done, I will let you know. I'll let you know. Porthole veranda is similar to a cove balcony. Oh, okay. I've had cove balconies before. Yeah, I'd probably pick that. Probably. Thank you, Kevin, for sharing the link to my Patreon. Yeah, Patreon and YouTube membership, you get the same perks on either. Havila or Fred Olsen for a first-time Arctic cruise. Very different. Very, very different. You know, Fred Olsen is a very traditional cruise. You'll have entertainment on there. You'll have live music, but you'll be in port, you know, on sometimes on Fred Olsen, we would be in port for like 4 hours and then that was it. And then we'd sail away again. Whereas on the Arctic cruise, sometimes we would only be in port for an hour, but we had 5 ports a day. So it depends what you want to do. If you're interested in more a cruise, Fred Olsen is a cruise. If you're interested in more destinations, then Arctic Circle is the place. Where did you get that shirt? Good question. I lost my banner. Here is my banner that I made. So it is emmacruisesshop.com. I designed all these t-shirts, and it says, if found, please return to the nearest cruise ship. This is my discount, and it's for just for these live streams. Don't tell anyone else. For 24 hours, then it is gone. It's gone. I like this one. It just makes me laugh. Anything that was an unabashed Norway experience. Troll meet and greet. It wasn't trolls. I didn't see any trolls because if you do a normal Norwegian fjord cruise a week from Southampton, it's great. There's trolls everywhere because it's more touristy. We didn't go to touristy places particularly. We mostly went to places where people just live and go about their normal life and drive on the snow, which is crazy. To me, we don't really get snow much in the UK. And if we do, we don't drive on it. Definitely not. You can change Captain Hudson with Captain Raccoon. I had to read that so many times because I was so confused. Yeah, I can't answer this question. If you could only cruise with one person for the rest of your life, who would it be? Oh, don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I do have something very exciting to show you. I think you're going to like it. So in a live stream, a couple of live streams ago, I showed you the Captain Hudson book cover that we have, and I have the first set of internal drawings. So it's not like a kid's book for a 2-year-old that has just pictures everywhere. It's a proper storybook, but it has pictures on the inside. So the inside ones will be black and white, the front and the back will be color, and I think they look so cute. So if you want to see them, let me know and I'll show you. It's still a long way to go with these books, of course, but we're hoping that when we bring them out, we're going to bring out 4 at a time. So we have 4 that are already the first draft done. 3 of them are more storybooks. The 4th one is more a guide. Didn't mean to stick up my middle finger at you. So, yes. Thank you for gifting another membership. I don't know who gets these. I can't see. But if you get one, then please enjoy. Please enjoy. Kevin is excited for the book. Yes, I'm so excited. They're so good, so good. So I will show you if you're interested. So let me just upload it because it's gone again. Here we go. Here we go. Give it a minute. We'll upload. Captain Hudson book sounds so exciting. Yeah, I'm so excited. So good. I think it's like the best thing we've ever made. So here are some of the drawings for inside the book, which I think are just so cute. Look at that. Look at Hudson. That's what he looks like without his hat on, which is funny. But this is him. So this is the first book, which is kind of telling the story of how he became Captain Hudson. In this one, he's just Hudson, the little kitten. And so he hasn't got his hat yet. But he's going off on a cruise ship there. And they're looking at the cruise brochure on the right-hand side. And that's obviously me, of course, as a little kid. Just Adorable. The artist is very talented. Yes, I hired 31 artists before I hired this one. So it took me a long time. But I'm really happy with it. Yeah. It just takes, obviously there's quite a lot of internal drawings. There's a lot of proofreading that needs to be done, a lot of formatting. We are going to self-publish because looking at proper publishing, when I speak to proper publishers, they say, oh, well, in 18 months, you'll have a book. I'm not waiting that long. Like I have four that we want to do already. So yeah, very exciting. Oh, any recommendations for a first timer in London? Port is Southampton. Oh, so it's quite a long way to London from Southampton, but assuming that is factored in, a hop on, hop off bus. That's the best way to do it. Can't think of anything better. Yeah, it's good fun. It's good fun. You get to see everything. If you only have a day in London, that's the best way you're going to see as much as you can. Do any crew members get balcony cabins? I presume the captain does. I'm not too sure about that. I don't know, actually. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think I've ever seen a crew cabin with a balcony. How many cruises are booked right now? I don't know. I'm assuming this question is for me. How many do I have booked right now? Which is 5. But this just sounds like how many cruises are booked right now, which is millions. Millions. Oh, those drawings look like my cousin's work. Well, perhaps it is. Perhaps it is. I don't know. Will Hudson sign any of the books? Oh, I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. Oh, Captain Kate says joining the bridge. Yeah, sometimes they join the bridge. Or they'll be in a little, like, you go through the secret door and then everything you kind of need is there. So you don't always have to be going down with the passengers if you don't want to. Dan says limited edition. Yeah, perhaps we could do that. I'll sign it as well. And we could get Captain Hudson. I'm just thinking of trying to get ink on him, and then he'd run off and get ink everywhere, which would be kind of. But, oh well, we'll see. So today I have been working on my full script for this video. I hope it won't take too long to edit because it was only a 4-day cruise. There's not a massive amount. Restaurant. This it's not like which of the 8 restaurants is that. So yeah. Stupid idea, make it a coloring book. That is not a stupid idea. That would be really cool. In the 3rd book, it is like a cruising guide for kids, and it has spaces in so that you can write. There's some Hudsons you can color in and stuff, which would be cool. Take a cast of his paw, stamp made. Can you do a cast of a cat's paw? That's pretty cool. Will Hudson do an audiobook edition? Because that would be hilarious. I could record his meows and then put them together for 8 hours if you want. And then if you can hear that, then perhaps. Does your most recent cruise on the ferry run year round? Yes, it does. So there were outside decks. There's a bar outside. There's hot tubs outside. People still went in the hot tubs, even though it was minus 12. But yeah, it does go year round. It's a ferry. It's very, it's full function, but it's really nice. It really surprised me. I don't know what I was thinking about ferries. The only ferry I've been on before was the Celia Symphony, which was one of the ships that kind of inspired Royal Caribbean to make that central street. So it felt like that. But that one did feel like a ferry, whereas Havila, it didn't really. It was silent. So silent. When you were sailing through these really close fjords, you couldn't hear a thing. It was, yeah. If they upgrade your cabin, when would you find out? Anywhere from the time you book it up until when you get to the ship. It could be anywhere in between there. Yeah, literally anywhere in between there. What an awful concept. Hot tubs. Plenty of people love hot tubs. And if you don't love hot tubs, then it just takes people away from wherever you want to be. So I think that's a good thing. I couldn't brave the cold. But yes. Do you know of an Apple program that transcribes recordings of an interview? There's a website called Loom, and I use that a lot when I'm sending videos to people, and it does like the transcription on there. But yeah, there's probably quite a lot that do that, I would think. I have never done a Nile cruise. No, I've not done a Nile cruise. It's not top of my list, to be honest. There's lots of things I would rather do. Lots of river cruises I would rather do. I'd love to go to Portugal. I haven't really seen much of Portugal, and a river cruise there would be probably top of my river cruising list. What is the biggest mistake first timers make when going on a cruise? Thanks for my Captain Hudson. Love it. You're very welcome. I'm glad you love him. I think either not planning anything, not doing any research, and then getting on board and saying, oh, the restaurant I want to book is sold out, or the shows are sold out. That, I see a lot of that. And then also I see it the other way, where people think this is a 7-day cruise, right? We're going to make a schedule, and then every half an hour we have this and this and this, and then something doesn't work out because you have to change port, and people get really stressed out about that. So I think not planning, and also planning loads, both of those are bad. You want to have a rough idea of, you don't want to just show up somewhere and have no idea what is there. But also, I think if you go down to like, I'm going to get the bus at 10:04 from this place, it just gets stressful. For me, it just becomes like work. Do you have a favorite place in Norway? I don't think so. I don't think I could pick a favorite place in Norway. If I did pick one, it would be one that I could pronounce, because my goodness. So I took the last cruise with my friend David. He has a website called Life in Norway and a YouTube channel about it as well. And you should see our chats. It's just me sending him a name and being like, can you pronounce this, please? Because he's British and he lives in Norway. So he knows how I would be able to say it. And he says, oh, the locals say this, but you could get away with this. And that's how I do it. But some of them are really tricky. How much will the new book cost? I have no idea. I've not looked into that yet. It's going to be self-published, so it's going to be just through Amazon. So hopefully it'll be quite affordable, because Amazon books are normally pretty good, I think. They're very good quality. So yes, that's my plan. That's my plan. Ooh, just want to say, got your card in the post. I don't know what card I sent, but that's good. Oh, I see. I'm back from a 2-week cruise on Iona. Booked with you. Fantastic. Fabulous. That is very cool. That might be if you booked with our UK team or our US team, to be fair. We sometimes send thank you cards, so maybe it's that. Because I send random things when I send prizes out and stuff, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure who I'm writing things to. Jono only posed for a photo because we couldn't see his face. If you go on my Instagram and just scroll down, or just Google Emma Cruises Jono, plenty of people do that. He comes up. He's not a secret. Love the way you say Amazon. I don't know how else you could say Amazon. Yeah. He has a whole YouTube video with Ferry Captain who pronounces every port name in Norway. Yes, he does. He's not the captain, but he's very, very local. So he has quite an accent to me. And David will often say, oh, well, that's how he says it. But I don't have to say it that. I'd have to do it that well. That's what he says sometimes. But yes, life in Norway, if you are interested in Norway, absolutely, that's where I've learned everything. And that's the reason I booked this cruise, really, was because my friend David was on board, and I wanted to see him. I met him on the Fred Olsen cruise, and he's a lecturer talking. So that's how I met him. And I thought, I want to see him again. And Amazon. How do you say that? Amazon. I don't know. I can't even hear that in a different accent. Amazon. Zon. You're thinking Zon. Amazon. That's weird. How do you not get lost on these huge cruise ships? I do. I have a terrible sense of direction. I don't know my way around. On the Havila, luckily, I learned my way around because it was pretty tiny. But yeah, big ships, I don't, and it's fine. You don't need to know your way around. You don't need a sense of direction. There's maps everywhere. At every staircase, whenever there's lifts, there's maps. I really like the cruise lines that have the 3D map. That really helps me to see where I am. But you don't. Normally I'm with someone else who knows, or if I'm by myself, it's fine. It's okay. You don't need a sense of direction. Don't worry. Joe says, all my merch has arrived now. Thanks for the quick service. You are very welcome. You are very, very welcome. I've tested everything, so I have much myself now, but that's how I wanted to do it. Have you sailed on Icon yet? I have not. Americans pronounce it Amazon. Nice. I like it. Interesting. Okay, cool. Well, where is my drink? I'm gonna get some squash. Britishism for you. We have Vimto today, of course we do. Going on my first cruise soon. Once you're on the ship, how do you is ready? So normally they'll tell you either at check-in, when you're checking in, getting your cruise card, they'll say, all right, room's ready at 2. Normally it's 2. That seems to be the one. Or they'll do an announcement over the tannoy, the speaker system, and they'll say rooms are ready from this time. And then when they are ready, they will say rooms are ready now. You can always go and see. And then if they're not ready, then you just won't be able to go in there. You know, sometimes I'm like, maybe they're ready. I'll have a look. I don't remember. It's no problem. No problem at all. You have reminded me I need to buy something on Amazon. Nice. I do have an Amazon store myself. If you type in Emma Cruises Amazon, it has my recommended things, like adapters and stuff like that. Have you considered a tall ship cruise? Yes, I think I would get seasick, but I would like to do it. So yes, sometime perhaps. What is your favorite football team? Couldn't care less about football, but if I have to pick one, Chelsea would be the one I pick. So it's quite good with your profile pic. Have you been approached cruising by other guests that recognize you? Yes, sometimes. It happens pretty much every day of every cruise I take now. Sometimes it happens in the car park. It often happens in the terminal. It happens a lot. Probably the most has been 20 times a day, I think, honestly, which is quite a lot. Would you do a sponsorship with a cruise line again if it came up? Yes. So the thing is I love cruising, right? And if there's a way I can get access to do something that I wouldn't normally do that I can show you, then I want to do it, right? So what I want to do is keep the line very clear on my channel. What is a normal cruise Emma's taken and what is Emma doing some sort of sponsorship? I am having a chat with one of the cruise lines at the moment with regards to their, you know, when a cruise, I can't talk about it, but when a cruise line has their like first class area, and I always look through the door. I'm talking about one of the cruise lines letting me in there so I can make some content for them about that. That would be so good. That would be so cool. So yeah, a couple of things hopefully happening this year. But yeah, I just want the line to be very clear. You know, if you see me doing an MSC cruise in and it's like cabin, you know that I paid £300 for that, and that's a normal cruise. If you see me on a random ferry, that's just something I've done. But if you do see me, you know, in the first class area or on a yacht, you know, I did a yacht last year, then yeah, you'll know that that's different. But I love it, so I want to do it. Yeah, we do have some other sponsorships, of course. They don't have to be just cruise lines. Oh, I heard a Britishism on Paul and Carol Love to Cruise. It's not chalk and cheese. We would say chalk and cheese, but it's not chalk and cheese. That sounds a bit weird. Someone please look up the definition of what chalk and cheese is. I would just say that meaning two completely different things. They're chalk and cheese. Martin says, very old Britishism meaning two different things. I guess if someone says something is not chalk and cheese, then they're the same. Sort of. They're not that different. Yeah, probably they're not that different. That's how it works. What excursion would you do in Valletta? Going with Morella. I wouldn't do an excursion in Valletta. Personally, you can see everything that's on the top 10 things to do in Valletta just by walking from the cruise port. It's not that far. Yeah, I wouldn't necessarily recommend an excursion unless, of course, you can't walk that far. Then fair enough. But yeah, you don't need it to see. It's not a massive place. It's not massive. It's lovely though. I love Malta. Chalk and cheese is night and day. Yeah, that's it. That is it. Have you ever been on the Meraviglia Plus class? So I think so. I've cruised on Meraviglia twice, and I think the Plus starts at Virtuosa. Does it start there? I've been on Virtuosa, so I think that would count. I think. I forget which ones are which, but I think so. But I do like Meraviglia a lot. I've also done Seaview, I've done Preziosa, I've done Opera, and I've done World Europa. So quite a lot of MSC cruises. Oh, I see an answer from my mum. I don't see the question, but I see the answer in it. I definitely wouldn't be a guest speaker. No, I would absolutely not. I couldn't get anything worse. It's quite funny. It's a very different set of skills. I can sit here, talk to 717. Fine. If I could see 4 of you, couldn't do it. Maybe 4. But if there was like 30 people watching, couldn't do it at all. Wouldn't want to. I'd make myself ill for months. Nah, not for me. Virtuosa and Grandiosa, yes. Lots of comments about chalk and cheese, apples and oranges. Yeah, apples and oranges are more similar than chalk and cheese. That is very different. Here's a question. Yeah, no, definitely not. Couldn't think of anything worse than being a guest speaker. That would be just awful. Have you considered doing a live stream with Gary? That would break YouTube. We have done before. We have. So already done it. Yeah, I don't think it broke YouTube. We're still here, but it was very good, very interesting. Gary knows a lot of things that I don't know. You know, we kind of cross over. I'll do the Costa and he'll do the Silver Sea, and then between us, we have one full person. Chalk and cottage cheese are similar. Ooh, I don't like that. Please hit the like. Yes, if you can hit the like, it just gives a good sign to YouTube. I get comments all the time from people who say, oh, I haven't seen you post in ages. But it's not really how YouTube works. Even if you're subscribed, it's not going to necessarily tell you when I have videos. But if you do things like, if you leave comments, it doesn't matter what they are, just leave comments around, then YouTube thinks this person likes it, and then next time they'll try and show you one of my videos. If you can check you're subscribed as well, please, because I get a lot of comments that say I was unsubscribed, and I don't want to be I don't want you to be unsubscribed. Please subscribe. Jamie says, because your budgets are so different, you and Gary could be on the same cruise and never cross paths. Yes, if Gary, it would be kind of Gary coming down to the cruise as I do, the mainstream ones, because I don't know. I don't know that I'll go on Silver Sea. Maybe one day. But anyway, he would be in the yacht clubs, the Haven, that stuff. And I would be in the theatre and in the pool and that kind of stuff. So yeah. I also have a friend who has a channel called Trek Trendy. His name's Will. And it's so funny to me to watch his videos where he does a cruise, because we would never cross paths. He's in every specialty restaurant. I never go in any. I'm in the theatre every single day. He never went to a theatre show. Really interesting. Ooh, comment from Brian, who says, when I was on Iona, I spoke to the entertainment manager. I'm going to apply for a DJ position. Very cool. That would be really, really fun. Yeah, I don't think I could do that, but that would be really fun. Have you ever taken Captain Hudson on a cruise? I take these Hudsons on my cruise. There's always one of those, but I don't take the real Hudson. The real Hudson's just Hudson, I think. When is departure for disembarkation usually? So usually on a cruise, you'll have to be out of your cabin by 8 a.m. Sometimes 7:30. That's the earliest that I've had. And that was on Disney, which was a surprise. But say normally 8 a.m. And then you have to be off the ship latest probably by 10, I would say. It depends. Any tips for Le Havre besides staying on the ship? I normally go for a wander around there. There's other places you can go on the bus, I hear, but I haven't been to any of those. But I would still get off. Like, it's not Paris. Just know that it's not Paris. Don, nice to see you, Don. I know Don had a cruise booked on Sun Princess, and it all went to bits, with the plans. But any plans to go on the Sun Princess if they ever get her going? Perhaps. There's some really interesting itineraries in summer, and I think it would probably be, I would probably wait for her to settle in. The thing about early sailings is not all the shows will be ready and the crew will be getting used to it. And I would prefer just to go on, give it a few months and then go on. And then that's more what the cruise is going to be like in a year or 2 years or anything like that. So yes. I hope you managed to sort all this out, Don, because I keep seeing updates from you trying to get these combinations of flights and oh my gosh. Sounds stressful. But thank you very much for joining the live stream, Dawn. It is nice to see you. Nice to see you. Did I miss the cookie update? I don't think we had any cookies on the Havila. I didn't think there were any. I did. So the thing about a ferry is your food isn't included as standard because some people are on there for a day. Some people are on there for 2 hours. You can bring any food. That's no problem. You could probably walk in with a pizza and they wouldn't even care because it's a ferry. So I bought some Pepsi on, of course, but I did get a meal package so that all my meals are included in the main dining room and also the cafe. But not everyone did that. I did that because I wanted to try different foods. I need to test everything out. It wouldn't be very good for my video if I, only ate biscuits and crisps in my room. So yes. Oh, Dan says Sun will be sailing shortly, sat down with the director of sales. Yeah, as far as I've heard, apart from the ones they cancelled, everything is good. So fingers crossed. Connie says never travel with Don. And this is not about Don. This is about the plans that always get, I don't know what happens, Don, but things always happen around Don. Yes. Yeah, Cruise Boys have Sun Princess in September. Yes, yes, yes. Is the Norwegian ferry a lot more expensive in summer? It is more expensive, but I wouldn't say a lot more expensive. Um, I would say, I don't know what the percentages were, but there's quite a percentage of local people on there who use it as a ferry. Then there's the people who run there for 12 days, the people who run there for 4 days. There are a lot of Germans on there, actually. That was probably the most language that I heard was German. Don't know. I didn't know that Germans like to go to Norway so much, but yeah, interesting. How far did you go on the ferry? I think it was about 1,000 miles when I had a look at a map, so quite a long time. How long would that have taken by car? I have no idea. But the thing is it's lots and lots of little peninsulas and islands and stuff. So if you did want to get from place to place, not by sea, like, I don't know, you're going to have to try and go through the mountains and all of this stuff. You could do it, I'm sure, but I think the locals do use it as a faster and easier and cheaper way just to go up and down the coast. It's interesting. So Havila are a new cruise line, pretty much. And you might be familiar with Hurtigruten. And the word Hurtigruten is actually the route. So for so long, Hurtigruten have been the only cruise line doing the route, and they were just like, yeah, we'll just call us Hurtigruten, right? It's like a cruise line being like, yeah, just call us Caribbean cruise. And then Havila came along, New Kids on the Block. But it does make it a bit confusing because now Havila and Hurtigruten are sailing on the Hurtigruten, if that makes sense. I explain it more in my next video, so hopefully it makes sense. Is Captain Hudson version 4 close to ready? I did talk about this a bit earlier, so I'm not going to say too much just for everyone who's been here, but I'm waiting on the updated sample. When that comes to me, I'll sign it off, and then we will get going. So hopefully 3 weeks, maybe something like that would be good. Oh, I see Dan. I don't know what Dan is answering, but he says, unfortunately, we've not been able to find a way. It's ridiculously complicated to even talk to them, and they have no interest in booking Americans. So based in this comment, I'm guessing this is Morella or Tui, right? Let's see if we can find where Phil is asking the question, because that's really the only cruise line. Yeah. Is it possible for an American or anyone outside the UK to book a TUI or Morella cruise? Seems they want you to fly out to the UK no matter what. Yeah. So they include flights from the UK, but you would think that you could just buy it and not take the flight. To me, that would make sense. But they do make it very, very difficult. I've emailed a lot for clarification, and I have got none. They have not answered. So I did message on Instagram. They replied to me on Instagram for some reason, and they said to book a Morella cruise, you have to have a UK bank. That's what they're saying, but they've told me lots of different things, so I'm not really sure. Yeah, Hurtigruten sounds like the Swedish chef on the Muppets. Kind of. It's quite fun though, Hurtigruten. The coastline of Norway is 15,000 miles. Oh my goodness. Is there a quiet time of year to go on a cruise? Not really. I mean, if you go somewhere that is out of season, there's going to be less cruise ships there. You know, when it gets cold and when it gets dark, cruise lines aren't in Norway because it's dark almost all the time. The sunset, I think, in Tromsø at about 3:30. I'm not supposed to say Tromsø. That's how I say it in an English accent. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry to my friend David. I'm letting him down. But yeah, it will be less ships there and less busy. But your ship's probably still going to be as full because, you know, they're not going to put a cruise there unless they know they can sell it. Yeah, TUI can book cruises from anywhere, but it's a German cruise line. Morella is different. Yeah, TUI, normally when people ask me about TUI, no one's ever asked me about the German TUI. I always assume it is TUI River Cruises, especially if it's in a sentence with Morella. It is very, very complicated. It's just so confusing. Where is the quietest area on a cruise ship, including crowd noise, ship noise, and wind or ocean noise? Probably a library. Some of them still have internet cafes. They're very quiet. An observation lounge. Normally that's pretty quiet, like a big lounge at the top of the ship. I'm not even getting into how you pronounce Hurtigruten. Like, no. No. I've spent so long today, so many voice notes with my friend David about all the different place names that we visited, and I'm stuck on Hurtigruten. Yeah, we're not changing that. No, not changing it at all. It's too hard. Yeah, Tromsø is fun to pronounce, always wrong. Yeah, I'm just sticking with my accent here. In my real video, I'll try. But on a live, it's too much pressure. Oh, looking for a 30th wedding anniversary Greek island cruise lines you'd recommend. I don't know off the top of my head which cruise lines are in Greece right now because I just don't. I can't remember where everything is, but quite often Norwegian are there, Celebrity are there, Celestial, the Greek cruise line, are always there. But if you do just want to click the book button on my website, then we can find out all the ones that are there for you. Or if you don't, you can download my free emails, my free guide. I just don't remember. I don't remember. Tromsø. Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, who like poo? Yeah. Like Polaris. Definitely. Yeah, I can pronounce them, but as soon as I move on to the next word, then I've forgotten how to pronounce the last word. If that makes sense. We have 777 people watching live. That's very cool. Is it possible to cruise alone without paying double for a room? Yeah, it is. It's more tricky to get a deal as a solo cruiser. A lot of cruise lines have solo cabins. Sometimes that won't cost as much as double in a regular room. Really, you need to be very flexible with sales and last minute and go to the most random places. And then you can get really good solo deals. Really, it's absolutely possible, but you just need to be more flexible with it. Dan says jackpot. I don't know what he's jackpotting, but good. Whenever it is, it's good. Yeah, we are zooming through this live stream. My goodness. So yeah, I should probably say this discount is nearest ship. It says, if found, please return to the nearest cruise ship, and that is in a line. It's just it doesn't. It looks like the Star Wars thing, but this is straight up in a line. If you can see. Yeah. Nearest ship, 24 hours only. I always get emails after the live stream that say, oh, I missed it. I'm sorry, but I got to keep it just for the live stream, I think. Can you rank the pizza by cruise line? Princess is the best, I think. Princess is the best. MSC's is pretty good. MSC has a lot more choice than any other cruise line. Yeah, Princess, then MSC. I haven't got any standout pizzas from any others, but every cruise line has pizza, really. I think. I can't remember ever seeing pizza on P&O. Is that a thing? I don't know. Perhaps. Yeah. Jackie says, I often see 60% off second passenger. Yeah, there are deals out there. There are some really cheap ones. Eddie Cruising says, how many suitcases have you been through on your travels? Not that many, really, but I did have one go moldy because my roof was leaking and I left it in the loft and it went moldy, so that was sad. I have been trying hard suitcases lately because I asked people, do you like a soft or a hard suitcase? Everyone says hard suitcase, right? So I thought I'd try, and I've tried a couple, and I've taken them on a couple of cruises, and I just don't. I just prefer a soft suitcase. I think I've just decided that. The hard ones, it's just because it's in two pieces. So to always unpack and unpack, everything falls over everywhere. Whereas a soft one, you can just take off the lid, put things in, take things out, put things in the pocket. I don't know. I guess it is kind of nice to have a hard suitcase. It just bounces off everything. But I've never had a soft one break. So, don't know. What is the most overrated, overpriced cruise excursion you've seen? I don't know, but quite often I'll see ones that are double the price for something. The ones that seem really silly to me are the like hop on, hop off buses, because I did one in Helsinki, I think, and you buy it through the cruise line, say it was, I don't know what it was, 30 euros, or you could get off, walk to the ship, and then buy it from there, and it was like 22, which fair enough. It's not a massive saving, but if you're a family of 4, that's quite a lot for just walking there. You have to walk to the ship anyway, like to the bus. So you might as well walk to the bus and pay. The difference, of course, is that you have already booked a space. If you booked it with the cruise line, and it might be sold out, but I've never known a hop on, hop off bus to sell out. Don't know. Cruise boys say you need a hard case with a lid, not a clam suitcase. I'm not getting any more suitcases. No more suitcases. Yeah, no, I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with suitcases. Jackie's on my side, team soft side. Yeah, absolutely. I just like the I don't know, just cheap ones. Don't really care that much, but I'll keep trying. Yeah, the soft can expand. Yeah, my hard one does have like an expanded bit around the outside, which is good. But it's just getting things out and in. It's kind of hard. The good thing, of course, is I always use packing cubes. So at least when I open it, it's just 3 packing cubes on that side, 4 on that side. So if I want to root through, it's quite easy. But yeah, I don't know. How have the Italian police not arrested you for ketchup on pizza? I'm going to go and have that exact meal after this live stream. And I do. This is my Friday treat. I have pizza and I put ketchup on it. I did. Oh, I had pizza yesterday as well. Oh, well. But yesterday I went to an Italian place and I had pizza and I didn't put ketchup on it. If I'm actually in there, and I didn't put pineapple on it either. If I'm actually in somewhere, then I won't. But if I'm at home, this is my home. Do what makes me happy. Pizza on Iona. Yeah, that was like frozen pizza. That was the same as you would get for £1. Nothing particularly amazing. Soft ones you can sit on them when you get delayed in an airport. Well, when I was taking a cruise with my dad and we were on the train standing up, I had a hard suitcase. He had a soft one, and mine was much better for sitting on. Much better. I remember that. So that is one plus side for the hard suitcase. That was my suitcase that says, I'm here with Captain Hudson. I like that suitcase almost too much to use it. So it's kind of become storage, but oh well. Yes. Is there a beach within walking distance? I'm not sure how you get out of this place in Bermuda walking. I'm sure you can. There's loads of buses that go up and down there, though. But I recently did a cycling workout, and it was round here in Bermuda. So it's very cool. You could cycle, actually, round. So I guess you can walk. But I think there might be some parts that don't have paths, is my only thought. So there's a beach that I always think of that people get the bus to and come back. Do all ships have a chapel? I don't think so. Most have some sort of room that is a multi-purpose faith room, a room they use for weddings, a room they use for all kinds of things. But I don't know if all of them have chapels. Not sure. I don't think so. I wouldn't like to commit to it, that's for sure. Yes. Catherine says, worked in an airport for years and the soft-sided get less damage than the hard shell. Fair enough. Would you recommend the Norwegian cruise on Iona for a family of 4 with 2 girls, 12 and 14? Yes, I would. I would say if it's going to be in school holidays, it's going to be much busier than out of school holidays. I don't know how you feel about school. But yes, I took my nieces on Iona. They had a brilliant time. They really liked it. And I'm taking them to Norway. So that'd be really cool. Not on Iona again, though. I have done 2 cruises on Iona. And yeah, I think I've done all I need to do on that ship. But yeah, it was good fun for sure. A big ship though. So when you get to some places in Norway, there's going to be 5,000 people there, which is way more than the people that live in the place. But yeah, it's good fun. Suitcase or backpack? I am a fan of a backpack, but if I need a suitcase, then I'm going to go for a suitcase. When you use a laundry service, does each sock count as one item? This is my ideal kind of question. I love this. Normally it's pair. Normally it's a pair of socks, costs whatever it is. And it will say that on the paperwork. I have quite a lot of laundry guides on my website where I've taken pictures of things. And I'm pretty sure it always says sock pair, $2 or whatever it is. I think. Yeah, I think so. Being 6'5", would there be a bed on a cruise for me? Most beds on cruise ships are pretty standard sizes. I don't know how you feel about sleeping in a standard size single or double bed, but that's pretty much what it is. Your feet are going to be hanging off the end. There's no doubt about that. But you just have to curl up and you'll be fine. They're just normal size. They're not particularly big. You'll get bigger beds if you get a suite or something like that, but normally it's just a standard size. I think the sizes are different too between the UK and the US. I think what we call like a queen is, or we call a king is your queen or something like that. I'm sure everything's slightly different. Did you know even paper, the size of paper is like in the UK we have like A4 paper, A3 paper. I said that to someone else and they were like, what? Is there laundry insurance for a missing sock? I'm pretty sure if they didn't return a sock to you, they would reimburse you for the sock because it's easier than them fighting you about a sock. So maybe. Would Captain Hudson be Team Pepsi or Team Coke? I'm slightly insulted that you would even suggest that he would be Team Coke because absolutely he's Team Pepsi. I don't think cats like soda. I'm not sure. Yeah, at 6'2", my feet are off the end. Yeah, I think so. I think if you're over 6 foot or something, pretty much. You were right about the pairs of socks. Good, I'm glad. Chris is a member for 9 months. Thank you very much, Chris. Great stream. Going back to Stockholm this summer. Very nice. Lovely, lovely. British A4 is a smidge longer than 8 by 12. Which makes everything confusing. You know, if you have a folder, A4 is the most normal size of paper. And then your American paper is too small or too big. Who knew? There's so many differences. I don't think it's just American paper. I think it's just UK and other paper. Oh yeah, so many people who are 6 foot plus cruise all the time. Absolutely not a problem. The shower is probably more likely to be a problem than the bed, I would say, because I took a cruise on P&O's Ventura, and it was like made me feel like a giant. I'm about 5'6". It's very normal height, and the shower was like here. So now I got to imagine what it would be like for the people who are 6'2", 6'3" to go in on a normal cruise. So that was interesting. Some of them are, yeah, it's fine. But some people will go to the gym or they'll go to the spa and they'll have a shower there because it's bigger. So if you are someone who, you know, you struggle with it, that's an option. Have you ever used Southampton Airport? I don't think I have. I don't really know. Well, actually, maybe I have. Have I? I need my mum who's in the chat because we did do a flight to America, and it was cheaper to go via Amsterdam, and we flew to Amsterdam and then missed our flight to America because of fog. So that was kind of annoying. But that might have been Amsterdam. That might have been Southampton. I mean, was it? I don't know. That was a random airport. Would you recommend coming from USA to Southampton? I don't think there's any flights that would go from the USA to Southampton. It's a very small airport. You'd be looking at Gatwick, Heathrow, one of the other Londons. I think there's 5 London airports, so it's plenty of choice. And you can very easily get the train from Gatwick down to Southampton. I think you'd have to go via somewhere closer to go to Southampton Airport. They go to Norway and places like that. Yeah, I think. Eddie is 6 foot, has no trouble with the beds. That is good. That is good. You have delayed by fog. Yes. I remember that, just one big room pretty much in Southampton Airport. Yeah. So I have. It is almost the end of this live stream. So if you do have any quick fire questions that you can get in, that would be really, really cool. And I'm going to be here next week at the same time. So if you do have any questions you didn't have the chance to get answered, please come back and try again, or join us in Patreon, or press that join button. And then you can ask me in our weekly podcast. Normally on Tuesdays, I do the podcast and I ask for the questions on sort of Sunday normally. Yes, good advice here. If going to the fjords with teenagers, I would say make sure you plan activities in each port. Lots of fun things to do. Troll cars, glaciers, scooter hire. Yes, absolutely. Loads and loads and loads. Have you been to Disneyland? I've been to Disneyland Hong Kong. I haven't been to Disneyland Paris. I haven't been to Disney World in the US. Just the Hong Kong one. What's for dinner? It is pizza. It is a pizza from Iceland. Woohoo! I mean, not the place Iceland, the supermarket Iceland. Frozen pizza. I love it. Tracy says, we'll be setting my alarm to remember to be here next week. Thank you very much. I try and keep these at the same time if I'm not traveling, of course. And it does depend sometimes if I'm at sea on the Wi-Fi, or if I have... That reminds me, I need to buy Wi-Fi for my next cruise. I actually came back from this Norway cruise and I had to book to go somewhere warm. So I have booked a last minute sunshine cruise and I can't wait. It's actually been pretty nice here though, to be fair. I've been out today, just a jumper, coat, actually kind of warm, but we're talking maybe like 12 degrees Celsius. It'd be extra expensive to import your pizzas from Iceland, the country. It would definitely not be the £2 that my pizza costs at the moment. Disable the teenagers' internet and make them look at the nature of Norway. I mean, when I cruised as a teenager, I never had internet, but then also I didn't have a phone that could connect to the internet. So I would be off the grid completely for a week or two, which was kind of cool. It was kind of fun. Oh, Dan is excited for my next cruise. So that's cool. That's good. That's always a good sign, I think. It's always a good sign. Is P&O or MSC a better first cruise for a couple in their 20s? They're very, very different. I think I have probably on my website a comparison between P&O and MSC. P&O is a very British cruise. MSC is a very Italian cruise. It depends if you want to go somewhere and be surrounded by British people, or if you want to hear people speak Spanish, Italian, German, French. It's just different. Both are good. Both are very good. You can get really cheap deals if you do it well with P&O and MSC. I'd say probably a similar price point. So that is it for our live stream. Thank you very much for joining me. This hour has flown, as it always flies, and I will see you next week at the same time. I'm going to be recording, I think, this evening, my next video. So hopefully it'll be out soon, and I'll show you everything about the Havila Polaris. All right. Bye, guys.